This video will spoil the entirety of the game. Welcome to Limbus Company, a gacha game run by people who don't know gacha games. A game where there is actually no game, only gambling and flipping coins. This thing is not a game. It is an epidemic, taking place in the city, a one-to-one replica of modern-day Warsaw, with its true-to-life Spanish vampires, evil Chinese eunuchs, and a poverty rate in the hundreds. Everything in the city is horrible, and therefore accurate to a life of an Eastern European. In this game, we play as Dante, who's running a daycare consisting of literal war criminals to a homosexual German boy. And yes, we are the Dante from the Inferno, along with this guide, Virgin Uchiha. With all their 2 brain cells combined, they can gamble their life savings away, travel through a new corporate form of hell with a bus, whilst collecting a bunch of glowing sticks and fighting off the Illuminati and a severe mental health crisis. But before that, if you've been on the internet for the past few years, you've probably heard of this game. So let me be the one to give you the community's most misinformative, unserious, and unhelpful review of all time. Please do not take me seriously. Hope you enjoy. Glory to Limbus Company. Okay, so for this video to make any sense, I'll have to tell you a simplified version of the lore. This city is comprised of 23 companies, all in a race to figure out how to cause the most human suffering possible, while still staying profitable. All the while, ever since a corporation called Lobotomy Corp flew into the sky and exploded, there's been a new god of schizophrenia, who's distorting mentally ill people into eldritch horrors, and there's also people going Super Saiyan. And that's all you have to know for now, since our story in this hellhole starts off with Dante losing his head and developing amnesia whilst a bunch of furries bully him. However, a bus flies in and out comes a white woman.
Hi there. Would you like to sign my contract? Sign my contract. Thank you for signing your soul away to Limbus Company. Now, enjoy your job at middle management. Here's your 11 other employees. Good luck.
Thankfully, our guide Virgil's all over the animals and saves us. However, not before making us go through insurmountable amounts of pain by rewinding them all back to life from the gates of hell. And now that they're alive, let me introduce our merry band of idiots. There's Gregor, a bug guy who has an evil scheming mother. His story's not finished. Rodion, a Russian Amazonian communist with a gambling problem. Fucking ate her landlord. Kulea, closeted homosexual, a racist and a War Thunder player. Yisong, why your broken wings, mirror boy? Had a job at Lockheed Martin, but now he's depressed. Ishmael, the resident normal person who's secretly mentally ill, has the natural bloodthirst of an American. Eat clip, proper Brexit geezer, happiest man from Birmingham. Don Quixote, you already know about her. The dumbest creature ever and a hero of justice. Hong Lu, a Chinese noble with a totally normal childhood and family. One of the many heirs to China. Ryo Shu, a psychopathic mother that has her own language which needs a whole translation sheet. Mersalt, the autistic goat holding this team together. Possibly racist. Otis, a middle-aged woman with potentially the horniest fans this fanbase has to offer. Our biggest glazer and a war criminal. Faust, creator of our boss Mephistopheles. And did I mention she's the creator of Mephistopheles and she won't shut the fuck up about it. Has an interdimensional Discord server with only herself. And then there's Dante, forced to be the manager of this absolute shithole, always the therapist and never the patient. On our fancy bus, there's also Virgilius, who I already mentioned, and driving this thing is his daughter Karen, who doesn't know how to drive. But that's all for my questionable introduction, since the bus is currently under attack by the homeless population of the back streets. So it's time for the combat. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of clueless on how the combat exactly works, since majority of the game is completed by pressing the 2 funny win rate buttons. But I'll try to break it down for you, simple style. In battle, everyone has 3 tiers of skills, and when 2 enemies use their attacks against one another, they will clash. And then it's all gambling, baby. Flip a coin. If you roll heads, good. If you roll tails, shit. This process of flipping coins will continue until one skill loses against the others, and the loser will take damage. All of this essentially makes Limbus combat feel like you're staring at a fucking slot machine. There's a whole lot more to combat, but for those of you who correspond with my prejudice of what a viewer of mine is like, you'll just have to press the funny win rate button and let the game play itself for you. And that's the prologue. Now it's time for the story, starting off with Canto. Our sinners fucking killed themselves and our bus eats people. The gang finds themselves in the dirty, cockroach-infested streets of Detroit, which has a former LobCorp branch and a golden bow within it. So to make this short, we acquire Yuri, and the bow forms a spiritual connection with Gregor, which places us into his memory. This is something that just happens, and we'll be doing this every single canto with a different sinner. Could you people please go to therapy? After figuring out we just needed to get touched by a giant lady's hand, the bow is resting in an apple, and Ref, our lesbian got swallowed by that bad apple. Please do something. And upon defeating the Yuri apple, it drops the bow, but it's stolen by Gregor's mom and her team consisting of Juan and King Von. They are working for N-Corp, also known as Nagel und Hammer, which is highly reminiscent of a certain unnamed German empire, which I cannot name. They eventually knock us out and take the bow. And that's the entirety of the canto. What an absolute disaster. No one likes this canto, so I'm fucking skipping over it. Enter Germany, and that one place from Persona 5 has been turned into an immigration checkpoint, which we will promptly ignore due to our company not believing in national borders. We enter a village named Call, the hometown of Sinclair. It's currently being burnt by the Catholic Church, whose whole job is to just be extremely racist against people with prosthetics. And this place happens to be the manufacturing place of prosthetics. Upon entering the now crisp and jolly town, we get greeted by the one who grips. Yes, that is her actual title, and she really wants to meet Sinclair. Turns out, Cromer is performing a satanic ritual in Sinclair's basement, but Sinclair airdrops his memories to us, which include him leaking highly classified documents in order to win an argument, and him slowly becoming racist towards his own family. But Cromer was like really into this, so she killed Sinclair's family. And there's also this cryptic blue twink called Damien. Stupid, don't like him. Because get this, when we finally do get to go face to face with Cromer on top of this huge mass of bodies, Damien shows up and one-shots her. Fucking okay, bro. We're back in the nest, and the local KFC manager lost 11 herbs and spices, which made him distort into a chicken. So now it's our job to turn him back by having a cook-off, and this side quest, along with us killing a Red Bull, allows us to sign a contract with Monster Energy, who are willing to trade their bow to us if we kill the local terrorist organization known as Prime Energy. We walk inside Monster HQ and meet the branch manager and Yi Sung's former colleague, Ben Shapiro. What the fuck am I even saying, man? This script's so bad, we become the victim of a terrorist attack and go through 31 combat notes. I've been fighting for 5 hours, please help me. Upon clearing out the terrorist hideout, we come face to face with the secret sponsor of Logan Paul and Yi Sung's ex-girlfriend, the Unabomber, hoisting a golden bow before gently shoving it into Yi Sung and leaving behind a photo of her, King Von, Ben Shapiro, and Yi Sung, who all used to be in a liberal arts polycule called the League of Nine, before disbanding and making Yi Sung Yi sad. But whilst Yi Sung was reminiscing about old relationships, Prime sent their actual army of 13-year-olds to destroy Monster HQ. So we go there and take an elevator to the top where the Unabomber wants to destroy the source of all Monster. But this one dude I haven't cared to mention yet does a fucking swan dive into a pool of it to try and taste the new flavor, and he dies. Because Monster Energy's microplastics revert things to zero, and it's of course, in old Project Moon fashion, powered by human suffering. So turns out, Monster Energy, naturally as one does, collaborated with the Catholic Church to record snuff films across the city in order to increase monster production. So everything relating to Sinclair's family dying was so we could get a new flavor of monster. And all this gloating nearly makes the Unabomber distort, but they instead manifest ego and then die in Yi Sung's arms. The bow resonates with Yi Sung, and we see him creating our in-game gotcha system, which is a mirror that shows us alternate universes of the user, and it's what we as Dante, Limbus, and the player use to canonically gamble on. And it's a thing that also allows our sinners to become the absolute worst versions of themselves for a fight. Oh no, the enemies are too strong. Hold on, let me become a 4chan user. So turns out the League broke up, and Herman in N-Corp created her own version of it, the League of Legends, which King Von recruited Yi Sang into, but he eventually left after he started talking to himself. After surviving the last combat nodes, we make it to the end of the dungeon where we find Ben Shapiro by himself.
Yi Sang, my long-lost lover.
Don't call me that.
Would you please take me back? I've become bitter, I swear. Lately, I've come to a realization that maybe, just maybe, facts do care about feelings. No, I'm good, actually. Yi Sang, I finally found my true self. Becoming woke for a second there distorted me, but then I remembered that beautiful cow back home. It reminded me of my sister. I really like that cow, Yi Sang.
After a long fight in which Shapiro managed to distort and then manifest ego, Yi Sang reflects on his past and realizes he can still move on and fly forwards, thus giving him the strength to kill Shapiro and cure his depression. Absolute cinema. We're on our way to the United States of America, and to get there we'll have to make our bus into a boat and sail the Great Lake, Michigan. But unfortunately, Ishmael is very scared of Michigan, so we have a game of Beach Volley to try and lighten the mood, but this girl's crazy. So we sail out on the limbo towards the evil-defining Lake Michigan and America, which has laws just like America, and breaking them can get you killed by law enforcement. And in the Great Lake, the cops are actually 5 whales, which will turn you into a zombie if you fucking die. Knowing all this, we sail out and arrive at Rhode Island, where we are supposed to rendezvous with an agent, but they got kidnapped by a syndicate backed by one of the fingers, that being the middle. They are basically gangs which rival corporations in strength, whilst controlling the back streets, and we just happened to run into one of their territories and kill most of their underlings. But this at least allowed us to free our agent and then learn the location of the next boat. On our voyage, we fight multiple eldritch abominations and row until we reach the Lobcorp branch, covered in cum. This whale is a sick fucking freak. Supposedly, a fat bastard by the name of the Pallid Whale ate the whole entire facility along with everything in it before spitting it out with a coating of whale sperm and human bodies, which causes Ishmael to vent about a hag, she called her former captain, who supposedly inspired and led her own crew to their deaths due to her insanity and obsession with the Pallid Whale. So now Ishmael is obsessed with hunting and killing her in return, because fuck therapy, we'd rather kill the elderly. Funnily enough, as we are about to leave, we come face to face with the upper echelon of masculinity and the most kawaii serial killer you've ever seen. Ricardo Milhouse, everybody.
Konnichiwa, Mina Slimes. I've heard one of you took my tickets to Turkey. Now, who was it?
I know. 'Twas our dear Heathcliff. Mine eyes did see him enter thy humble abode in Rhode Island and depart with a bag full of tickets, sir.
Maybe it's the foot up your ass.
Dante, there's a button on the back of your head. You need to kill yourself.
So, after getting brutally pounded by a balding Latino man, we get saved by the local Finnish uncle, a color fixer known as the Indigo Elder, who's out on his bi-daily fishing trip for a whale. So there's one thing I forgot to mention actually. The golden boa is somewhere inside the whale, and we are way too weak to kill it by ourselves. But now that we have a nuke in human form sitting next to us, we can just ask him for help. So, we help him find the whale and come up with a plan to get devoured by it, since we're immune to its evil cum powers. Oh hell no, that fat ass well done ate my former ship, and now they got my morally questionable captain in charge of a whole ass colony. So say hello to Ahab and the Pequod, which consists of Starbuck, Ishmael's lesbian lover Queerqueg, and a child soldier who wants to become a landlord.
Ahab! I've come to kill you for what you did!
What are you on about, lass?
You killed everyone because of your blind obsession and...
Nuh-uh, I didn't do that.
What are you... It was.
It was clearly the whale.
What do you mean, the whale? I'm not falling for this, okay?
Actually, now that I think about it, it was clearly your fault. The fault lies with you, fishmail. Should have just killed that whale. Simple as.
Ahab, I would appreciate it if you would fucking kill yourself!
So after this slight workplace disagreement, we sail out with Queer Quag, whilst Ahab takes the rest of her crew and kills all of them. What a shocker. Before using her hag mind control powers to make Starbuck and Queequeg fight against us, and then she devours them, making them into harpoons for her ego, the gas harpoon, which does nothing. She soft as baby shit, which allows us to kill Steal the Whale and leave her mentally ruined, which in turn completely cures Ishmael's depression, because turns out that the cure for depression wasn't killing the elderly, it was making them worse. And now it's time for Heathcliff's very bad, no good, terrible day. After killing Santa, we're now en route to the worst place on Earth, that being London, which is somehow even worse in this game. They took an already established shithole, put an ugly steampunk aesthetic on it, and found a way to tax time and color. So now half of my footage has an ugly piss tint on it, and I can't make the colors go funny. We arrive at Heathcliff's childhood home, Wuthering Heights, since we were invited to ball by Heathcliff's girlfriend Kathy. But since this is a British household, everyone in the house is racist, besides the one black person in the manor, and they happen to be a butler. What did Wuthering Heights mean by this? But that's all better now, since Catherine's dead, and she married the White Devil, Edgar Linton, after Sleescliff left the Heights, and now he's here to receive his part of Catherine's will, whilst his brother, Hindley Wuthering, a proper Brexit geezer, receives a future trip to rehab from her dead sister, and we, as in Greedcliff, will be given a golden bow when we sort through all this bullshit.
This is it. Our friend's dead. What about the future we were supposed to have? What about...
Knock it off. I for one am happier than a motherfucker that wicked witch is gone.
You, shut up!
Hey, don't you get loud to me, boy. There's a beast inside me which you don't want to awaken.
You're broke with multiple dicks and Sindley, and you gambled the bloody manor away.
At least my sister wasn't my lover, and that lover didn't end up marrying Linton.
Don't remind me.
Linton.
Yeah?
Oh, fuck off.
Alright then, Sir Cook and Mr. Shud.
We get attacked by Heathcliff's former gang, the Dead Rabbits, led by a guy named Matt. After which we learn Linton was allowed a single hug per year throughout this whole marriage, which we bully him about until he lets us into the evil-ass basement where Catherine is in a coffin. And the Dead Rabbits are here, along with Wuther Hindler, who gets rage-baited about his gambling addiction until he unleashes the beast and fucking dies. After which we learn that Matt is the identity of the Heathcliff, and he's working his way through killing every P-Cliff because he's the most self-loathing Least-Cliff. So now we fight Mean-Cliff, and killing him makes our Wee-Cliff into Beast-Cliff. Hence we must turn him back to Clean-Cliff, but talking to his sister, who's also his lover, redeems him. But now Linton did a thing and awakened 1, 2, 3 cliff, so now we're in deep shit. I'm sorry, I was just going through all the Heathcliffs. Anyhow, there's now an evil and perfected identity of Heathcliff, casting interdimensional necromancy and summoning endless hordes of enemies whilst carrying Catherine's coffin up the stairs. Whilst we're stuck in this basement playing COD Zombies. But when we're about to finally die, Virgin finally shows up and beats the allegations after doing nothing for 70 hours. Which allows us to catch up and suppress the Earl King thanks to the power of French autism. But Otis in a maid outfit is still a part of this canto, I guess, and she decides to free the Earl King. So now Earl King escapes and gets to do some magic golden bow bullshit, which eventually makes Catherine into Ghostrian, who now wants to kill every single Catherine in existence. God, these two are miserable. So now whilst fighting both the Earl King and Kathy, we realize we can enable admin commands, and we use those powers to ban every single Catherine ever from existence. After which we also ban the Earl King for RDMing, well, everyone. Nelly sneaks off with the bow and joins N-Corp, and everyone but Dante and Heathcliff forget about Kathy. W. Heathcliff. We are in debt by a couple million. Don't ask me how, it just happened. So to fix this financial problem, we end up becoming Mystery Incorporated and attain a Tumblr OC, after which we take the New York subway, which is fully infested by vampires, and the train ends up in another dimension. And Don Quixote is secretly a vampire when she's barefoot. So we go to Piss Corp and accept the job, which includes us attacking Mr. Beastland, which keeps manifesting in and out of existence and kidnapping people. Everyone participating in this raid will fucking die, since this place is full of Spanish vampires, except for Hung Lu's sister, Si Shun, who's here looking for immortality in order to become the next Jade Emperor of China. We enter La Mancha Land and fight Spaniards until we meet the Barber, who's one of 3 notable vampire descendants of Mr. Beast, who we're about to kill until a magician shows up from the Blue Twinks group, and he uses domain expansion to make us perform a stage play about the stories of Don Quixote, which includes stories such as her killing a bear, her fighting a knight for 3 days. There also happens to be a totally unrelated story of a king wanting to create a family. And for the last play, Don Quixote will drink dirty river water, which will make her take off her shoes and awaken her true inner self, that being Sancho, who will now walk over to a Ferris wheel and find Mr. Beast impaled into it with a golden bow. This is Don Quixote, the father of Don Quixote, creator of Dracula Flow, and the man with the most ingenious plan of killing his own family. Turns out this dude was a normal vampire in a castle until he fought a white woman, and from there on he fell victim to fixer propaganda and decided no more blood for his blood fiends.
Sancho, come hither.
Yes, father?
I've ingenious an idea most convenious.
I don't think those are real words, but do tell.
Now that we've put humans off our menu, we require a form of sustenance, and I took inspiration of a man by the name of Mr. Beast, who's kind of like me.
Father, I don't...
And we both own an amusement park built on blood, and neither of us are human. But to remedy his success, we're missing one crucial ingredient, Sancho.
What is it, father?
Feastables! An easy and nutritious meal
Oh
for
my
everyone
God.
that will keep our blood less sated. Sancho, give me 1 million Feastables, please.
So he came up with the idea of Feastables, and from there on he left the journey with Sancho, but the rest of his family fucking hated him. So they spiked Mr. Beast onto a Ferris wheel, but not before Sancho was given her new Tims, Roshinante, which disable her blood fiend menstruation cycle and allow her to live semi-normally. So after all this, she fled and drank from the River Thames, which gave her amnesia, and she accidentally picked up her father's name. But now she's back to being her original Spanish self, but with the power of friendship, we make her kill Papa Dracula in a duel. I swear to God, we did not end up giving her more trauma. Don Quixote retains her memories and now keeps her dogs in check. My company's neurodivergent hire just ended up becoming a fucking nuke. Hello and welcome to the People's Republic of China, also known as the low-income housing area of District 8, where there's yet another succession crisis. And we are in the middle of it. Yeah, so turns out being affiliated with 2 heirs to the Mandate of Heaven isn't a good idea if you don't want to get assassinated by the 12 Chinese zodiacs. But aside from being hunted down by National Geographic and the Polyester Prince, we'll have to show the Mandate of Heaven immortality for the first test, or die. Among the other notable passing candidates, there's Juan, all the way from Canto 1, with his boyfriend, King Von, Xi Shun, and D. Confucius, who will be fighting in the Denver airport for Test 2. I don't know why killing all your nobility is the wisest choice, but maybe I'm not Chinese enough. Traversing through the destroyed estate of the Hong Kong family, we fight multiple heirs until it's Hung Lu's time to vent in general. And funnily enough, Hung Lu's homophobia eye is actually a camera that streams footage for the evil Chinese elders. And every single problem Hung Lu's ever had in his life is due to his grandma pranking him. Me when my grandson is misbehaving, so I fucking ruin his life for content.
No, you don't get it, Blue. I had to impregnate all those people so I could call over the United States military.
After all this venting in general, we enter a debate against Confucius, who beats the shit out of us whilst asking us the question of what does Hong Yuan need? A question which Hong Lu managed to fuck up so many times, Confucius just gives all of his points to us and leaves the debate. And we don't want to be the Jade Emperor, so we give all of our points to Xi Shun, who's now the next president of China. Unfortunately, everyone wants her dead since she's currently a bit of a fraud. For a bit of context, usually a notable person in Hong Yuan has a Haishu branch under them, just like Xi Shun did before she let all of her Umas go. So currently she's too weak to protect herself or the throne, and the only way she can regain control is letting the original Jade Emperor take over her body, and we'll have to stop this. Oh my god, is that Jetstream Sam?
Nah, I'm your daddy, bitch.
Yeah, so this is Lei Heng. I haven't talked about him yet, but he's the only character to get nerfed in and out of the story. But unfortunately, Confucius is a fucking nuke. So turns out this whole empire of China exists to give dopamine to these geriatric brain-rotted Qianren elders, and refusing the worm makes them demand for more content. So Hong Lu's grandma stabs the bow into herself and distorts, but Hong Lu forces her to take a bath and leaves them trapped for eternity. After this, we secure the mandate of heaven, play Uma Musume, and Xi Shun becomes Xi Jinping. Hey there, it's me, and I want to tell you about Canto 9. It released a month ago and you should go play the free video game by yourself. Besides, my explanation of the game has been dubious, to say the least, and there's way too much happening in this Canto, and you should experience it all by yourself. Please, Project Boo needs all the money. This video has taken a while to make, and as a college student, spending 6 hours a day editing isn't the most healthy choice. So if you feel like sponsoring my upcoming Library of Ruina video, be sure to check out my revised Patreon. I will be streaming Library of Ruina on the 24th of this month for the video, so come check it out. And as always, be sure to comment something nice for the algorithm. Thank you for 9k subscribers, and I'll see you in 6 to 7 months. Okay, bye bye!